pretty ordinary round of footy, wasn't it? Round 22.
It was rubbish, but I think we've been spoilt for the last few rounds.
We've had a few good ones.
Had some crackers.
I mean, Friday night sort of just ruined it. It was a decent game, but they went, all right, well, that's it, 8's done.
Yeah, exactly. It sort of put the excitement out of that race for 9th and 10th.
It was looking
8th,
exciting for the last couple of months. You know,
Yeah.
it's all going to come down to Adelaide in Geelong, and then Collingwood went, nah.
And there was always a chance Richmond could finish 9th from the last round. So it's kind of taken that out of the equation.
Tigers fans won't know what's up.
Exactly. I feel a bit, I don't know, a bit nervous, you know what I mean?
Is this real?
Is this real? Yeah, exactly. I'm going to wake up and we've been taking drugs for the last year or something. We're out of the finals.
It wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Bash looks pretty ripped.
His beard's on steroids.
Yeah.
He's been taking illegal beard balm.
Anyway, yeah, I thought it was sort of the round that gives everyone a break until the finals, more or less.
It is almost a bit of a mulligan round. I mean, this round's looking to be more of the same.
Yeah,
round
exactly.
23.
But given that, it's preliminary final time in the VFL, which had an awesome round. So
No, it's first week of finals, not prelims.
Isn't that the first week? No,
prelims is the second last week.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's the first week of finals in the VFL.
Yeah, and been some interesting games there, but we'll jump into that a bit later.
Yeah, we can talk state leagues. We may as fucking well.
Yeah, exactly.
The main leagues were pretty ordinary.
There was more action there.
Well, anyway, we'll start with Friday night, Collingwood versus Geelong, and Collingwood blew them out of the water.
Yeah.
This game was almost done by quarter time.
Yeah, and it's good to see the Pies bounce back after a pretty pathetic performance last week, I thought. Buckley came out afterwards and said that intentionally they experimented with their midfield so they could release Swan and Pendlebury and try and see if the team can be less dependent on them.
Yeah.
I thought they had amazing effect too. Like, they had a young midfield.
DeGoey
in there.
Yeah.
They had Taylor Adams. Jack Crisp went through there for a little while. Taylor Adams, 36 disposals, 12 clearances.
Yeah, not a bad effort.
That's a pretty bloody good effort when you don't have like the Swan or Pendlebury around you in the midfield.
He was, one of their big names from GWS that they got over the summer.
Yeah.
And I think Greenwood, he had an all right game too, didn't he?
Yeah, I think Greenwood did pretty well.
He's only played half a dozen games, I think, this year because of his injuries.
Yeah.
And Swan went down. I think he got a knock on his knee, so he won't play around 23.
Yeah.
So it was good for them to rotate some through there. And, obviously they found a couple of winners.
Yeah, I mean, Crisp did another good job.
Yeah.
I think he ended up getting 31 for the game. Did well with delivering the ball into their forward 50 as well to set up. Cloak didn't do much because he was a late withdrawal. So set up their forward line to...
Jesse White was starting to look all right, I thought, on the day. He took some nice marks.
And, I mean, I don't want to... Well, actually, I do want to say it. I think the forward line looked better without Cloak in there.
Yeah, it's a bit like that.
I don't think Cloak should be out of the team. I think he should be up the ground more.
No, I've been saying all year he should be centre half back.
Yeah, I agree.
He wastes too many opportunities.
Yep.
And there's some real monster forwards in the league that he can, like, they're not going to muss out him. Could you imagine him playing on Tom Hawkins?
Yeah,
that'd be fucking awesome.
That'd be a mouth-watering matchup.
Yeah, and it's not like he's slow to get rid of the ball, Cloak.
Yep.
But it's not like that's going to be a disadvantage down back because there's lots of people that are like that down there, like Rance, who's probably going to be a dual Australian. He's not a quick release either.
No, he's terrible.
So you can play within yourself down there, and he's still a great mark.
He's a very strong mark. That's the thing.
Yeah, of course he is.
Just kick for goal.
Can't kick it straight for goal.
Yeah, I tell you what, but he can kick it a fucking mile.
Yeah.
So a full back with a strong mark that can body out someone like Tom Hawkins and kick it pretty much square to square.
Well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me he's any different than a sauce bottle for Merritt for the Brisbane Lions.
It's true.
Like, he's playing that position. I reckon he'd be good for it.
Yep.
And they've got Darcy Moore now, who's looking like he's slotted in well for his first year.
Yeah, yep.
He's reading the play well, which that's reading the play and getting up to speed.
Yeah,
is the hardest thing in your first year of footy. But, he looked all right. He didn't look
good.
Too bad.
I think they've got a promising midfield, especially if they can manage their stars, their aging stars, by filling in the roles that they traditionally played with these young group that's coming through and free up those players to play a bit loose. Almost like you get someone like Swan or Pendlebury to play almost like a Delio role where they'll go across half back and push forward, kick goals.
Jimmy Bartell.
Yeah, Jimmy Bartell or something like that.
Yeah,
for impact, they can go in the middle and pretty much turn the game on its head too.
Well, at the moment, those two play, I'm going to guess, 90% in the midfield and maybe rest up forward.
Probably, yeah.
Maybe they play 66% in the midfield and rest up back.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that. They're still obviously very smart footballers and they can direct the young guys around.
And I think you could probably get another couple of years out of those guys if you can take a bit of the workload off their shoulders. And I think this game proves that the young kids are more than capable of taking that on and being successful.
Absolutely. They showed a lot, Collingwood. The Cats really had only one bright light.
Story.
One story, and it was the story of the weekend as far as I'm concerned. You couldn't ask for any more from Menzel.
Exactly.
Kicking 4, including the Cats first, which was he absolutely burned his teammate. I forget who the teammate was. About 20 metres in front of him, all alone. Like, nah, mate.
Nah, son.
Been waiting 4 fucking years for this.
Had 4 knee recos.
I'm slotting this one through. I'll tell you what, I reckon he's got some adamantium put into that knee.
I reckon. No, he's almost got like Blade Runner's things chucked in there because he almost took a hanger. I think he did take a hanger.
He did take a hanger in the 4th. He took it on his fingertips.
It's a Mark of the Year contender, I believe. So,
well, it's the emotional Mark of the Year.
Yeah.
By a mile.
Yeah.
Look, I reckon they should have carried him off the ground. Give him a lap of honour. I don't care if he got done by 10
after that performance, he might have needed to be carried off the ground. His knees seized up. Bit of WD-40 on the old knee replacement there. I think it's a knee replacement, but may as well.
It may as well be. He's probably
I think he's got like halfway for a replacement. They've taken half of it out.
Yeah.
They're just willing to put something back in.
He's probably got that many cadavers in his knee that he's hearing the voices of 10 different men possessing him.
It's almost like having too many people on the field, really.
Didn't help him on the night, but geez, he'd be happy to get a kick, I reckon.
Yeah.
He's ended up booting 4.
Yeah, and at a point where going to be some probably wholesale changes at Geelong at the end of the year. Well, he's definitely put a sort of light bulb above his head and gone, I've got to stay.
They were never going to get rid of him, just purely for the emotional side of it. And mate, we've paid
a lot of money.
We've paid so much fucking money for these knees. We're going to at least get another year out of them. But all the talk on Geelong was which of their over 30 stars are going to stay, which are going to be retired, which are going to be forced to retire, and which are going to be moved on and might find a place at another town. Yep. Now, on the way here, I was listening to SEN, and they said that every Monday, teams release their media schedule for the week. So, coach will talk here, we'll talk about this there, we'll talk about that there.
Yep.
And Geelong are very diligent, and they're the most organised.
Yep.
And, Chris Scott will speak on Tuesday, and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
They released theirs and said Scott will be talking to BC. TBC. To be confirmed.
Yeah.
In other words, they haven't organised yet, which means they don't know themselves yet.
Yeah.
They've still got to have those talks.
Yeah.
So that was a long way to get to that result.
Yeah.
So I really believe that they're still half and half.
I do as well. And I think you want to take your full sort of measure with making these decisions as well.
They've made hard calls in the past.
Yeah, but I think it's very sort of touch and go between having a list that you're going to be able to move forward with and plan out your next 5 years or something. Yeah. But also, you don't want to break morale of the team and also your supporters by having a mass withdrawal of your stars. Yeah,
of course you do. And we've seen that happen at other clubs. They just go, everyone over 27, fuck off.
Yeah.
You lose, like you say, morale, but you also lose a fair amount of footy smarts.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's something that Geelong, like we said, have managed it well because they've had an embarrassment of riches. Yeah. When it comes to those 2- and 3-time premiership players.
Yeah.
And I think they've done it the right way too. Like when they 2 years ago, they said, "Chappie, you're finished.
Yep.
But we want you to come to the best and fairest night. Give a speech, mate. You're loved by everyone. You're welcome here. You're part of our fabric.
Yeah.
You haven't got a contract, but you've got a place."
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to do it. Posy Adley was the same. He sort of moved on.
And I think it's fair to say Chappie would be welcome back there with open arms now that he's retired from the Bombers.
I dare say he'd be looking at coaching.
Slot back in there, as assistant coach. And
so let's go through them and see what do you think they're going to do. Start off with Stevie J.
I think they'll keep him. I think just because he's done just enough, enough.
I reckon so too, especially after coming back in the last 2 or 3 games. The game against, they've lost them, those games. But the game against Hawthorn, he played really well. I think he kicked 3 or 4, and would he kicked another one on this one. In the draw, he had that big botched it in the goal square for the missed goal of the year.
That was the best from that.
But he came back and kicked the ripper from the boundary line, 5 minutes later. I reckon so too. And at the start of the year, I said he was finished. But
Yeah.
He's just done enough, I reckon, that you'd hang on to him.
Halfway through the season, I was the same. Or even, probably up to maybe 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That could have been halfway, fuck knows. But, I was about the same, where I thought, probably gone. But when you look at who you're going to put into that place, there's no one that really jumps to mind. So you have to wait.
It's a crumbing forward.
Yeah, you have to wait for someone to put their hand up and say that they're going to be the player that take over that role, and then they're going to be able to learn from Stevie J. But I think you give him year contracts.
And it's been well documented that he's done every coaching course he can. So
right,
I think that they'd migrate him into that role.
Yeah,
it's whether if he's happy to say, mate, you're going to play 12 to 14 games.
Yeah.
And we'll manage you through that way.
It could also be worth having him almost transition from, have a transitionary year from player to coach. Does that make sense? So you give him directional advice, and he implements it on the field, almost like
give him responsibility. As a development coach.
Like we were talking about how almost like Hawthorn do with Hodgie, where he'll almost be at that half back line and dictating strategies and setups, and I think you see something similar for Stevie if he's going to transition into a coaching role after he retires.
Okay, 300 gamer James Kelly.
I think he's gone.
I think so too.
I think he's gone. Yeah, he looked old.
He
looked a touch behind the play.
I think he's been subbed out a few games this year as well.
Yeah,
because he has looked that little bit slow.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets picked up by anybody else either. If he wants to go on, I don't think anybody really is that interested.
Yeah, and I don't see what role he would have next year in that team. He can hold his own, but there are other people that can do the same in that role at the moment. So, and he's not really going to teach someone how to play that role.
I mean, I don't think you put him in Geelong's top 10.
No.
He's probably in that 11 to 15 bracket. You want somebody else to come in, I think.
Yeah.
Corey Enright.
Gone.
I think he will, if he really put his foot down and said, I want to play, I think they could still play him because he's still good enough.
Yeah.
I reckon he's more or less hinted that he wants to go out. If he goes out now, I think it's the right time for it to go.
Yeah.
Next year, it could be a year too late.
See, I think it's just the position that he plays. I think they've got people who can come in and fill those roles, and you look at how you're going to set a game plan for 1 year, 2 years ahead with those players.
I think he'll be happy to retire. He's got his 300. He's got his 3 premierships. There's nothing more he needs to prove.
Yep.
Jimmy Bartell.
I think you keep him because he's good at plugging holes across your field.
Yep.
So I think he could be sort of. I think he's definitely starting 18.
Starting on the field.
Yeah, starting on the field. If not, I think he'll be probably the best sub to ever come into the game.
Yep.
But I think there's still somewhere, because they're going to have lots of holes next year. I think Jimmy's still someone you can slot in.
I think Jimmy is somebody you go and say, mate, it's your call. If you want to go, we won't stand your way. If you want to stay, you got a spot.
Yeah.
There's a little caveat with Bartell, though, in that he's had a lot of head knocks.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
But you go to him and say, what do you want? Mate, you'll get a job at any club. Off the field.
Yep.
But I think you 100% leave it up to him, and you go, you ready? You want to go? Yep.
Yeah.
You got a job.
Yep.
Mackie?
That's a tough one.
He's 30. I think he's just 30.
I think you probably have to keep him just so you don't completely rape your team from sort of key positions.
I agree.
So,
I'll keep him. I think he's played good enough. You might get another 2 years out of him.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's still got something to offer that there's no one immediately going to jump in that spot and do what he does.
And to be honest, a lot of it could break down to what happens in the trade period as well.
Yeah, actually that's true.
If they get Dangerfield, and they're talking about Henderson, and fuck knows who else. If they lose Motlop, you can really change things up.
Yeah, they're looking at and that could be a sort of a factor that might force Stevie J out because they can't afford to keep him on there.
Who knows? If they lose Motlop, you've got to keep Stevie J.
Yeah, exactly.
There goes your X factor up forward.
Look, I think they'll probably keep Motlop over Stevie J just because they've got a few extra years on him.
I think Motlop's hinted that he's going to sign on anyway.
Yeah.
So I doubt he was linked at North for one stage, but. I reckon he's going to stay.
Yep.
Dangerfield, who fucking knows?
Yeah, I got no idea with that one.
I still say he's going to stay in Adelaide, but it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
So after that game, the rest of the weekend was, I'm going to say, the worst weekend of football I can ever remember.
For the games I watched, absolutely terrible. Terrible.
So Saturday, we tried to pull the big for, like I said online, it's a big achievement for a married man to try and pull 2 games on a Saturday.
Yep.
Late in the season. So for starters, I went in early to watch the Hawthorn game on TV at Etihad.
Yeah, that's right.
Went to the North Bulldogs game at Etihad, then across to Richmond, Essendon at MCG.
Yep.
Not one of those 3 games did I see the final siren.
Yep.
Not one.
Yep.
And didn't miss it.
Not at all. And the thing is, even with the Tigers Essendon one, it was Chappie's last game, but I mean, it was for the Bombers.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel any obligation to stay there at all for that one.
As a Hawthorn supporter, I went there just to make sure he's retired.
As a Richmond supporter, I went there because it could be one of the few opportunities so have left to watch us win.
So one of the games, Giants versus Carlton. Carlton were there for a little bit and then just went, nah, fuck this.
Yeah.
And by half time, they'd checked out and Giants had a bit of a feast. I think Cameron kicked 6 or 7.
I think what's that?
7?
7-3. Jesus.
7
Christ.
goals all in the second half.
And I think Chalor got 28 disposals, led the game. I think.
Yeah,
double check that.
He definitely led Giants.
Yeah.
But Patrick Cripps just put his stamp on for the Rising Star Award. I think he's got it in the bag now.
Also, Chalor kicked 3 goals. I think it's going to be hard to hold on to him end this year.
Well, he's been linked to Collingwood from the get go.
Yeah.
But, I mean, everybody who's up is linked to Collingwood.
Yep.
So that's just neither here nor there. I think the fact that GWS has signed everybody else is sort of the same thing happened with Hawthorn in the year that Franklin was rumoured to go. They signed everyone, and you're like, well,
yeah, exactly.
See what's going on here.
Especially someone like GWS, where if you want to get big bucks, you get signed first because that cap room that gets taken up pretty quick.
That collar doesn't stretch that far.
Yeah, and Carlton re-signed Ed Curnow. Which I thought was pretty fucking amazing for Carlton to be able to manage that. If I was him, I'd be out of there.
He's had a great year, though. I thought he's one of the very few shining lights for them. He's given his all. I remember in round 1, we went and we sat on the fence.
Yeah.
And Cade Simpson, he was giving shit to Curnow all night, yelling at him.
Yeah.
So it's good that he turned into a bit of a tagger, he turned into an annoyance, and did his job.
And look, I think that if he hadn't been injured, I think he'd be just about a superstar. We'd be speaking to him the same as speak of Shields and Treloar and those players, those young guns, because he had a breakout season with his maiden season, and just had that injury that just sort of really
held you up,
put the kibosh on his progression, and sort of took his name out of the hat for those young guns coming through. Where you got Hogan, you got Treloar, Shields, So if I was him, I would have been the fuck out of there.
But I mean, they've got Bolden now. Brendan is their coach. He can't stay that happy for an entire year.
Not at all. Not at all.
Jesus, poor bastard.
That's the other thing I was thinking of. When you look at teams like GWS, who are a very young team, and they're not playing finals, and just had me thinking about what you do in the off-season to train these kids. And obviously we listened to Rogan's podcast a bit, and he bangs on about Marv Marinovich and his training with plyometrics and whatever they got out there, Eastern Bloc research, whatever they do. I'd like to see someone like Daniel Shield go over there and just see what difference that makes to playing AFL. Like that flexibility and power-based training. See what difference you can make to a young gun like Shield, who's built big and could do the hard stuff, but imagine if he could sort of leap over someone, that sort of stuff. Just see what sort of effect it has on a young 20-something-year-old kid who's already got the build, but just to give him that proper specialised training. I'd love to see him send him someone like that over there.
You're running a big experiment where you take one of your absolute guns who's trending, like he's going to be a superstar. He looks like a 10% bigger Daniel Kerr. I reckon.
Exactly. Yeah,
and plays.
That's a good point, actually.
I mean, a lot of them do, the altitude training and overseas and off to fucking Germany or wherever they go.
Because I know they go to Vegas and that. Go to
Arizona
to do the dry.
And Colorado.
Yeah, and Colorado do the altitude.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Nick Kershaw might operate out of Vegas. So just that different style of training, and you see the results in other sports like NFL, baseball, mixed martial arts. I'd be really interested to see how it goes with AFL, because I think it's more applicable to this sport than it is to those other sports, or not mixed martial arts, but I think definitely NFL. You'll get more out of it from an AFL perspective than that.
I remember years ago, Nick Maxwell was talking about how Collingwood always went overseas. And he said, how much of a difference does it really make? He goes, it might make 1 or 2% difference, but that's 1 or 2%. That can win you a lot of games.
Yeah,
and that's how tight the AFL is.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to be a massive change or anything like that.
Yeah.
While you're on that, I read during the week, I think on Luke Hodge, he was talking to somebody at the club.
Yep.
Actually, it might have been Adam Simpson years ago, and he said he told him at the end of his career, in order to prolong his career, he dropped a kilo a year. So he went from his standard playing weight. He said, "Mate, you got to take a little bit off because you're older. It'll take you longer and everything." So that's what he's done to try and prolong his career.
Yeah.
I reckon you can see it when you compare him to a couple of years ago. He's slimmed down a little bit, and
definitely.
the game's changed as well.
Yeah,
so all these guys,
his roles changed as well. So I think what he does now is probably easier to do with a bit trimmed down. He's not doing as much hard stuff as he used. Well,
besides
he's
getting
trying
suspended.
to, but not working out.
Hawthorn Brisbane. My big experience with this game was I was training it into Etihad while this game was on, listening to it on the radio, and I went, "Hang on a minute. I got AFL Live Pass on my phone.
Yeah.
I'm fucking watching this game on a train."
Yep.
I tell you what, it was one of the most indulgent little train trips. I felt like this is the fucking future.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I had my own little indulgent train trip into that one, catching the
Frankston line.
No, I didn't catch. I caught Frankston line out, but I catch the Pakenham fucking Cranbourne one from Noble Park Station,
right?
Which is just Dodgeville Central, And so I sat on the train, caught it in, and listened to the couple behind me talk about their impending drug bill deal from Richmond, and if they're going to be there, how long they're going to wait, how much money they're going to make out of this one, about how Sharon has just bought an ounce and she must have some dollars running around in her pocket. And I'm thinking, Jesus, guys, you must be fucked up if you're saying this out loud on a train.
Or just no cares.
Just no cares at all, yeah. So that was my little indulgent sort of spying on my train trip in.
No, it was funny because I
hope it worked out well for him too.
When I was listening to the radio, I'm like, Jesus, Brisbane have kicked, I think they kicked 4 in a row or something like that. Hawthorn kicked a goal in the first 30 seconds.
Yep.
And it was like, okay, this is going to be ugly.
Yeah.
And then Brisbane came out and you're like, oh, this could be the big shock,
Yep.
Then when I actually got to watch the game and go, right, Hawks got the breeze this quarter. I went, oh, okay.
Yep.
And they kicked 10 and the game's over.
And I think the Hawks, they needed a win, but I thought an easy win like that, I don't think it really did them many favours. I think they've had a couple of, tough losses in the last, 4 weeks or so?
Yeah,
weeks, something like that.
Richmond and Port were their tough losses.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, I had a little bit of a theory. I thought next week, in the VFL, you've got Box Hill versus
Footscray.
Footscray in the first round of the finals.
Yep.
You're playing Carlton. What if you dropped a couple of your players who are a bit struggling for form, give them that finals pressure in the Bs? You're in the double chance there, so if you win that game, your team will be rested in the Bs, and some of those players that you've played in the As, sort of to swap, obviously you got to bring people up, it'll give a better experience to the ones from the VFL coming up to A grade playing Carlton to get them the match fitness for AFL, give you options going to the finals, and also give some finals experience to your players who have just dropped off a bit in the AFL.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to do it. I mean, you'd expect that they'd rest 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Just because they've got a lot of players that are over 30 for starters.
Yeah.
And Hawthorn showed last year that they don't care about the VFL.
Yeah.
I mean, they rest the players out of the grand final just in case they were needed for the big one. And the other thing I mentioned, Box Hill in the VFL finished with the minor premiership again. The Box Hill Development League, which is the one below VFL, finished undefeated.
Wow.
And they play finals, obviously, this week as well.
The other
so
thing is,
they've got a lot of, the depth is there.
Yeah. Because I watched, obviously it was a pretty shit round AFL. I actually watched the Werribee versus Footscray game on TV. That was a fucking cracker. Yeah. That was a really good game.
I'm glad that the state leagues are getting televised more this year.
Yeah, and it was out at fucking, what's the shit airport? Avalon Airport.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that's where it was. And they still got a decent crowd there. I think it's like $15 to get in or something too. And they still had a pretty decent crowd there.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that the Bulldogs showed they got a lot of depth because
of course they do.
They had a really good team going into that game.
Reigning premiers in the VFL too, don't forget.
And Tommy Boyd in there played a blinder. Kicked their winning goal and just looked so crisp with his foot passing.
I wonder if you get a call up.
I think he's... It depends. I think it's going to be a matchup game because the Bulldogs have been doing well running with sort of smaller teams. But when you come up against those big teams with big key positions, I think they've got the depth there to be able to cover those teams.
Scoring hasn't been their problem. I mean, Stringer's had it on a string.
Yeah, exactly.
And Cramery's been good for him as well.
Yeah, but they had Minson and Boyd in Bs.
Yeah, I don't think Minson's going to get a game in the A's.
Yeah, Boyd definitely dominated that game. Also, Young Goods had a blinder as well.
What's his name?
Can't remember. Brett Goods.
Brett Goods.
Brett Goods. Yeah.
I think he won the medal for the VFL last year.
Because that game came really close, and Tom Boyd actually kicked the winning goal for Footscray out of contested possession in the forward lines. Just managed to muscle his way through, pick it up. But Goods also performed very well under pressure. They were behind by like 5 points.
Yep.
Could have been maybe a minute remaining in their backline, and Goods set it up for a push forward and got him the win. So I think
he's probably one of those players that VFL's his level. It's all right. Yeah. I mean, I think he's played 2 or 3 games in the seniors this year.
Because also Hawks will play Footscray next week in the VFL, and the Footscray team is packed with AFL stars. So it's not like it's going to be a true B grade squad. So you're still going to have an AFL sort of type of match.
The good thing is that both teams are in the finals in VFL and AFL.
Yep.
So the longer you go into the finals, you got your depth players are still playing finals footy somewhere else. So they're kept in touch. You kept in good nick.
Yeah.
It's you can only do so much on the running track. Yeah. There's nothing that beats
exactly. And that's what I was thinking. If you give a couple of people, because finals is different. You get up better for finals than you do for a round that doesn't really mean much. So I thought just giving a couple of players a little bit of finals experience before the finals start could be a step in the right direction, especially playing Footscray, who are going to have AFL stars in that team. So it's not going to be a true B-grade team.
And Hawthorn beat Brisbane. Yep. That's about all we need to say about that. I don't know. Is there anything else interesting at all that happened?
Brent Staker, have he retired?
Yeah, he played in the NEFL. Did he? I think they got up for a win.
Oh, okay. Does he get one more game in the A's? Or
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think he will. Well, I mean... by what I saw on Twitter, it looked like that was his send-off in the NEFL.
Right.
Because I don't think the Lions are playing finals.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. So there was a lot of, I think he might have been, farewelled from the ground at that game.
Okay. Well, all the best to him anyway.
Yeah. Good on you, Badger. And thanks for saying hello on Twitter to us as well. So we highlighted last week that Bulldogs versus North could be one of the games of the round.
Yeah.
Fuck, it was ordinary,
wasn't it? It was shit house.
It was
shit house.
It was pathetic. The skill level in the first half, especially.
Yep.
What was it? 5 goals to 4 or something at half time.
Something like that. Yeah.
But we were just looking for anything to be interested in this game.
Yeah, and like we said, we didn't even really care that much where we sat. We sat there we're in the nosebleeds next to one of the scoreboards.
Yep.
And I think for half the time we spent discussing it's actually not a bad view for the UFC that's going to be there in November.
UFC 193 is going to be there, and Ronda's headlining it now.
Yep.
And I was looking at the centre circle. I'm like, I could watch a fight.
Pretty decent,
here.
I reckon definitely like the nosebleeds Eddie had would be pretty good for UFC.
I think I'd rather be in the nosebleeds than 20 rows back on the ground.
Yeah, definitely.
Because then you got all fuckheads in front of you and stuff like that. At least in the nosebleeds.
You also got the posts on the fence as well. Apparently, they just fuck up your view.
On the octagon.
Yeah.
We spent most of the time thinking also about the UFC when it's at Etihad. It's a long walk-in.
Yeah, it's huge.
You want to make sure that your song's on a loop.
It's gonna be like Ali versus Foreman. Just that huge run-in.
I can see the Ultimate Warrior. He's keep running. And,
I love they did like a sting just dropped from the ceiling
from the rafters.
Yep. I don't think just don't own hard it.
Just don't own hard it. I don't think that Dana's. He doesn't really like them doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
when they walk in, he just likes the dark tunnel. But
does he really? Yeah.
Yeah, he always has to go when they try and do something silly when they walk in. I remember when James Tahuna did the Men in Black.
That's right.
He said, actually, no, that was okay.
Yeah,
that was kind of fun.
Yeah, that was pretty.
Can't do that anymore either. You got to have the Reebok kit on.
Yep. Yeah. Actually, just another really strange one. You see, Reebok are selling used fighter kits on their official website.
Are they?
You can buy Michelle Waterson's used fight trunks. Yeah, you can sniff Michelle Waterson's dirty vagina after a fight.
Yeah.
You can buy Ronda's as well. Cost you 10 grand.
Yeah, I was going to say
10 grand.
Yeah. How much is that in yen?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what they're going to. It'll be like a vending machine down in Tokyo or something. Honda Housey.
I think I was looking at the votes for the age today for this game, and they gave Goldstein best on ground, but
did they?
It was really hard to best or second. I think he was. Well, I don't think he had that great of a game, which is a bit of a shame because he's hopefully pushing for a Brownlow, but it was just so hard to watch.
But here's the thing: is that Goldstein, he dominated the ruck, but they lost everything around it. If that makes sense.
So he won the hit-outs, but not hit-outs to advantage. You're saying?
Yeah, I think it was like hit-outs. I think he won 54-20, but they lost the clearances 44-35. What else did they lose? A couple of things in there.
They lost contested possession.
Contested possessions. They lost hit-outs and the clearances. Where's the clearances?
Inside 50s. Clearances 44-35.
44-35. And so I think it's almost a curse of the dominant ruckman. Because you've seen it with Sandlands a lot as well,
yeah.
where you'll dominate the ruck, and so the other team's strategy is purely defense from the tap out. And so it seems like they get sharked way too often for being that dominant in the hit-outs.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been the knock on Sandlands.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes you can try and overthink it. And maybe, if he just thumps it forward 20 metres, yeah, you know what, that's not too bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Essentially at every ball up, if you gain 20 metres, you're doing all right.
Especially if you've got the wings behind you running forward as well, and then there's a couple extra on ballers.
Yeah. With Goldstein, I mean, his greatest asset is around the ground.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a stat of handball receives for ruckman.
Yep.
Because it's the old rule, you don't handball to a ruckman.
Yep.
Fuck that.
Yep.
But Goldstein you can trust.
Yep.
And he's pretty smart with the footy as well. He's a half decent kick.
Actually, speaking about that, I'd like to see a stat for ruckman, or in general, disposals that you literally picked up off the ground yourself. So
right,
it's not receiving. It's loose ball gets and disposals.
Yep.
Yeah, is that actually a stat? Is it?
Yeah, loose ball gets.
Oh, there you go.
It's the opposite of contested possessions.
Glad someone's one step ahead of me then.
Look, he's not a great midfielder, but he's 6'10" or
exactly
whatever he is.
Exactly.
And that's why he's looking at going very deep in the Brownlow this year.
Yeah.
Also, I read today that Sandlands and Goldstein are both online to break the season hit-out record. Currently with Dempsey.
Yep.
Stood for 20-odd years.
Yeah.
So another record that they're both looking to break this year, because it's been a year of breaking records for the ruckman. And they're both likely to be the first to get 1,000 hit-outs for a year.
Wow.
Which, is something, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean,
since they're both playing finals.
There's not much you can celebrate about the ruckman, you know what I mean? They're not kicking the most goals, and hit-outs aren't really celebrated, but when you're breaking records like that, it's still something, you know what I mean?
Isn't it? I mean, it's your job.
It's made me a tiny bit more interested in hit-outs, so...
Yeah. It's been a lot of focus on ruckman this year, I think.
Yeah.
We might be having a bit of a resurgence in decent ruckman.
The other thing was, we've been to watch a fair few North Melbourne games this year, because obviously Josh is North Melbourne. Ben Brown, he's the star of their future. I just can't understand why he's that good. But I think I figured it out this match. I think he's managed to gain complete control of his uncoordination. I think he doesn't look coordinated or whatever he does, but he doesn't fuck it up. He does it perfect. And I think it's like free throws in basketball, where you can have the most fucked up style ever. It doesn't matter. If you practice it enough, it'll go in sooner or later.
A bit like Charles Barkley teeing off.
Yeah, exactly. Yep,
if it works for you, okay.
Yep. And so I think he's just practiced it enough, and he spent enough time out in the paddock, and he's just made that retard style work for him.
I was thinking, he's goes, this is all I can do. That's what I'm going to do. He's a great timing in his leap for marks.
That's exactly what sort of made me think about it, because he doesn't have that jump. It's like he's running and just trying to catch up to his body.
Yeah.
And he sticks his hands up there and just falls in there. But obviously, it's on purpose.
He runs like Kerry Saxby.
He does he?
There's an old reference.
Someone out there will get it.
Yeah,
sure.
The old Walker from the Olympics and the Late Show used to love Kerry Saxby.
Yeah.
And obviously he's got a bit of height and long reach.
Yeah.
And whenever he marks it, he always marks it at full stretch.
And the thing is, he marks it and straight away pivots and does the backwards run.
Yeah, doesn't he?
Does it sensationally. He almost has a bigger stride running backwards than forwards.
Yeah, go close. He is from Tasmania, so you'd expect that kind of trait.
Well, feet facing forward and backwards works. He's got backwards knees.
Now, I'm going to say it again. I haven't had many predictions this year that have come well, but Robbie Tarrant was one of them. I said he's going to have a breakout year.
Yep.
I thought he had another great game.
Yep.
Cross halfback, taking lots of intercept marks as well. I think for me it was especially apparent on this game because Easton Woods up the other end, who's made those cutout marks across halfback his trademark this year.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought Robbie had a better game than he did.
Yep. I find that Robbie's getting more confidence as the season goes on. He's being sort of more confident leaving his man, if that makes sense.
Yep.
He's not playing that true backman role. He's not afraid to push up forward and almost be your stopper in attack. So when the ball comes out, he's there and he'll be able to set it up.
I just had a look. He's had 14 marks on the day. Now, a lot of them would have been uncontested, across the back line. But, he had a great game.
You've got to be there to take him. So
exactly right. And Drew Petrie, I thought he did. Presented well.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, in an ordinary game. And I cannot stress how ordinary this game was.
Yeah, exactly.
What we left 5 minutes into the final quarter.
I think so, yeah.
Bulldogs kicked a quick 2 goals. We went, fuck this.
I think we were that confident. We actually started leaving when it got a bit close. I'm pretty sure Northampton kicked the goal and we're like, nah, fuck it.
That's right. We were going to leave at 3/4 time, and then we thought we'll give it 5 minutes. And the first 10 minutes of the last quarter was good footy.
The contest was good.
It was the only good footy for the day.
Yeah.
And then Bulldogs got out and we went,
Yeah, we'll get the first bounce of the G.
Get the first bounce of the G.
Yep.
That was it. Oh, anyway, you can't sing the praises enough of Bulldogs. Everyone has. They've made a great year out of it. So we moved on to the G. Essendon and Richmond. Nice light rain, so we had a choice of our seats.
Yeah, we did.
For the first time, I watched a quarter in standing room.
Yeah, no, I've watched whole games in the standing room. But, this one, to be honest, there's really not a whole lot to say about it. It was...
for the weather, it was an all right game.
It was all right.
For the weather.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, if it had been dry, I think Jack Riewoldt got Mark of the Year twice.
Yeah, he did an awesome job. What's funny about that is Jack took some nice marks. Hurley didn't have a bad game.
Yeah,
he played well on him.
Yeah, and that's it, because Riewoldt didn't kick any goals, I don't think, for the game. I think he was a donut.
Yeah, big donut. But
did enough, presented himself. And Matt Thomas back again. I don't know if he's his first one back in or...
I think so. It's been his first for a while.
Yeah, because I think he was pick up from Port Adelaide, I believe.
Yeah, a season or two ago.
Yeah. He had a pretty good first season, almost playing the role that Matty White was playing. Yeah, no, not Matty White. Sorry. I can't remember his name now. Across the half back line there, just a tough in under, maybe pushing forward.
No, Griggs or
blonde haired fella.
Loston Ellis.
Nah, short fella. Oh, fucking hell.
For Richmond?
Yeah, for Richmond. I was thinking, I want to call him Knights, but he's not Knights.
Knights, he pulled the pin during the week too.
Did he?
You see that?
No.
Yeah, he just said, mate, look.
It's done. His body's fucked.
Yeah. I've tried my best. I think he got 90 games out of himself.
Really? That much?
Yeah. He just said, I think it's time.
Because he was only young too, I think.
But he's...
wasn't too old.
No, but we had that many bloody injuries.
Yeah, that's true.
There you go. Matty Thomas's second game it was for Richmond.
This season? Oh, yeah, there you go.
This season, yeah.
I thought he did a good account of himself. Played well.
Probably not going to get a look in come finals time.
Well,
you'd say if he's only had 2 games for the year,
you would say no, but it's a pretty decent game against a shit opposition in the rain. Yeah, no good.
So I mean, Richmond play North next week, which there's a little bit on the line for it.
Yep.
So if he gets a game for that, he can make a case for himself.
Actually, against North, you might have him there because he's a bit of a smaller in and under player as well. We could match up with a couple of North players. So
he's still got a bit of toe.
Yeah.
Was it McIntosh doing the soccer skills?
Yes,
out on the wing.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Wasn't it beautiful?
And smart too, because he knows as soon as he bends down, he slows down, he's getting tackled. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
Just keep the ball in front and keep going forward.
Yep.
And then you make your own luck in this game. So when he's decided to put it into the forward 50 and it's landed in Martin's hands, which I thought should have been a free kick for handball, to be honest.
And I think, if you're a professional, then you've got the right to claim those as intentional.
Right. Well, it's what he meant.
Yeah, exactly.
He meant to kick it and to a Richmond player, and that's exactly what he did.
So I'm all for just McIntosh, don't mark a ball ever again. Just play off the ground. Yeah.
Keep it on the ground.
Does much better.
Yeah. The crowd behind us. It's always that's one thing you do miss when you if you don't go to the actual games. Is instead of listening to the dribble from BT and fucking what's his name, Black Ops, say that again, Rick Darcy. You get to listen to the dribble from drunken idiots behind you.
Yep.
still haven't figured out which team they go for, to be honest, because they were abusing both teams fairly equally.
They were. Actually, there was a couple of young fellas, and they were a bit hammered, having a good time. God bless them. But could not figure out which team they were going for. But maybe they were like us at the Bulldogs and North game, where they didn't give a fuck either way. They were just out there to watch a bit of footy.
Well, see, that's what I don't get. Like, I'm an idiot, because neither of my team was neither of the teams playing there.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll try that again. My team wasn't playing that night.
Yeah.
It's a much easier way to phrase it.
Yeah.
Yet it's pissing down. Well, it's raining for most of the night. The footy's ordinary, and I'm still there.
Yeah.
It's because when you're married and you make plans, you fucking stick to them. You don't know when you're going to get another chance.
And I tell you what, you're in the right section, because I don't know if you noticed, but about 3 rows down to the left, another bloke in a Hawks jacket.
Every game, I see somebody in a Hawthorn.
Yep.
We're everywhere. We might not go to Etihad, but
I think he was working on the same principle as you.
I've got the pass. I'm going to fucking use it.
I'm out. Yep.
Geez, I don't know why, but they had something against backmen wearing long sleeves.
Yeah.
All night. That's all they got about. Too many long sleeves in that back line.
Yeah.
Not swearing.
Exactly.
Just, I thought Spring Fashion Week started.
They were Melbourne supporters. That's what it was.
And calling Brendan Goddard Gargamel, which I've heard before. And yeah, if you colour his hair black, put a bigger nose on him, maybe he's
probably.
Gargamel.
I think they gave him a spray about his long sleeves. He was one of their main targets. McKernan did pretty well.
Again, he's done everything that's been asked of him whenever he's come back into the side.
I think it was pretty much straight after we put his head on the chopping block. He started to come good.
Yeah, it wasn't me. I thought he wasn't even good enough to be on the chopping block.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was me, because I just researched him like that day.
I thought he wasn't even that good.
I was like, I've got to put someone on the chopping block. Who's going to be?
Look, Essendon, before Hurd left, they flagged that there was going to be lots of changes to their list. I think he's the type of player you want around, because he's going to give you effort.
Yeah.
Even if he's not in your best 22, he's going to push the guys that are in your best 22.
Yeah.
And especially because they've been struggling with the ruck stocks all year.
They're struggling with motivation as well. But he's someone who comes out and seems to get up for the games.
Because Chappie retired, he was on the Sunday Footy Show, and he was talking about it. He goes, obviously I wasn't involved in it, but they're my teammates, and it just saps them.
Yeah.
So I think the court date's in November this year.
Yeah. And let's be honest, it's not going to be the last one.
The way it's been going, who knows?
Now that Wilder have taken over and gone, well, we're not satisfied with what you have been running this fucking dog and pony show. We'll take over from here. Yep.
Well, McKernan got 31 hitouts, which is not bad, because he's against, on a wet night, he's against Marek, who isn't that athletic, tall ruckman. So it's somebody that he can probably match up well against.
Yep.
And he got more of the ball than Marek did on the night. So that's not a bad effort from him.
He did well. Presented himself. Did a good presentation of himself in the ruck role.
Yeah, absolutely. Essendon just gliding through to the end of the season. They can't wait for it, I think.
No. And it was a sling tackle on someone on Deladio.
Oh yeah, that was Courtney Dempsey.
That's right.
It was a German suplex,
wasn't it? Yeah. It was a beautiful suplex too.
Very he's been referred direct to the tribunal, which is the right thing to do, and they'll give him 3 or 4 games.
Yeah.
But it's very weird after it, because Dempsey knew he fucked up and he went, I'm going to hold him still.
Yeah.
But the Richmond players wanted to drag him off and, give him a scene too.
Yeah.
So it was that mixture where, guys, one of you has to let go.
Yeah.
You'd like to think that the Richmond guys are going, okay, let's take care of him first. Let's take care of Lids, make sure he's all right. Then we'll go knock his block off.
Yeah.
But they wanted to knock the block off first. But anyway, what can you do?
They did, yeah. But, I mean, it was a harsh tackle, but you give him probably a couple of weeks. And
yeah, I mean, what does it matter?
Yeah, exactly.
He's probably going to get a suspended sentence
it's
anyway.
It's like
from
kicking a dead puppy at this point, isn't it? With the
what does he care? He starts Mad Monday. He can have his own Mad Monday by himself. Him and Chappie.
Yeah.
Both
actually, there's a fair few retarees. They probably have a full street worth of bar crawls.
Yeah. It is interesting this time of year when you hear all the players that are pulling the pin.
Yeah.
As teams have their last home game is generally when the players pull it up. Do you reckon Chappie will go to Mad Monday at Essendon and Geelong?
I think Chappie's earned the right to what the fuck he wants.
Why not?
Yep.
Get a cab halfway across.
Yep.
Because let's face it, he's played 2 seasons at Essendon and 50.
And I mean, let's be honest, Essendon been looking forward to Mad Monday for like 23 weeks now.
At least. We can even talk about Gold Coast versus Port. There was a melee. That was about the only thing exciting that happened in this game.
Yeah, there was. You saw a few punches thrown on the ground there.
Got away with them too, which is very surprising.
Well, to be honest, he would have been lucky to start his lawnmower with those punches. Little fucking shithouse.
Yeah, just hey.
Yeah, almost could have been mistaken for finger painting, really.
It's a lost art to the AFL.
Oh yeah, I know, but UFC coming to Melbourne, November.
There was a good punch in the women's game earlier on in the year.
Was there?
Yeah, right in the breadbasket it was, in the middle of a pack.
Right in the breadbasket.
Yep. She got a warning for it.
She either went too high or too low.
Yep. I've forgotten the player's name, but I looked her up on Twitter to find out who it was. So had the indignity of being the first female reported.
Really?
Got off with a warning. Anyway, so what does it
God
matter?
bless that lady.
So Port Adelaide, again, finishing off their season strong.
Yep.
And they'll just be going, oh, see, we could have done this. If we were in the finals, we would have made a difference.
Yeah. Well. It's almost more insulting to your fans when you do this.
See what you could have done.
Yeah, it's like, we're out of the finals now. All right, we'll start playing good now. We'll start demolishing all the best teams. Well, not the best teams, but we'll start playing like one of the best teams.
Sam Gray has gone from a joke to...
Oh, my God.
Could be a gun.
It's like, I hope he fucking hates his brother. I hope he fucking they hate each other and he puts him for a trade. Gets picked up by a nice Melbourne team like Richmond.
Have you seen A League of Their Own?
Yes.
Yeah, like the two sisters that play.
Yeah.
I think the younger one's name was Kit.
Kit, yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
She goes off to play against the
old
Peaches.
one was Gina Davis.
Yeah. He's Kit.
Yep, fucking oath. Kit Gray.
Kit Gray.
You've got him named now. All right, yeah. I hope they have a big falling out. And Kit just goes, nah, fuck it, packing up, going to Melbourne, get fucked, family.
No, Robbie says, that's it, I can't play with my brother, trade me. And they trade Sam instead.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly the way it should go.
And then Madonna sings or something, I don't know. That's how it goes.
Yeah, Madonna can fuck right off. But I think with this game, you just look at the stats and it tells the whole sort of story of it. You got 28 scoring shots, 16. Gold Coast, they won the stoppages, they won the clearances, and they got hammered on inside 50s.
So they did nothing with it.
Exactly. So and I think Port, 21 more disposals, 23 more tackles, 19 more contested possessions. They just wanted it more.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it.
Which, again, what are you playing for? You're playing for pride. A few people might be playing for contracts. But with the Suns, they got most people signed up. And it's guys like Charlie Dixon that are still thinking about where they're going to go next year, unless he knows already. And every chance he could.
And look, I think the one sort of shining light for the Gold Coast in this one was that Took Miller has continued to impress. I think he came in halfway through the season or something like that. He didn't play the whole season, did he?
No, or if he didn't play any good until about round 8 or 9 or something like that.
Yeah, but he's come in, he's had 9 tackles and 18 disposals, and just in these games he never gives up. I think he's been one of those players that have shown that he wants to be there, he's going to be a leader, and he's always going to give 100%, not distracted from whatever's going on in that club. Yeah,
it's good to get the guys in like that are hungry for it. And Sard's obviously been their other big first-year player, although he's out injured as well. And Gold Coast has struggled for that, keeping players on the park.
Yeah.
Even had one of the Gold Coast assistant coaches? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Nigel Lappin, played in their reserves team.
Are you serious?
Or maybe he's a reserves assistant coach. Huh. They run out of men. So you had to go borrow...
Strap the boots on?
Yeah, borrowed a pair of boots. Yeah. Went out and had a couple of kicks and then...
Fair enough.
And then blew up after that. So, I'm pretty sure he's like a reserves assistant coach or something like that.
So I was watching one of the Sunday footy shows or something and I can't remember who the Hawks player was. He was on there with Hodgie and he was saying that when he's younger... who was the fellow that went to Sydney from... I think it was at Freo? No, he went to Gold Coast from Freo. Fucking... Not Malcheski, I think.
Sydney from... He went to the Gold Coast from Sydney.
Yeah, it was Malcheski, yeah. Saying that when he was younger, he was around his house one time, left his boots there.
Right.
He said he used them for 4 years. He said he was a student, had no money, so left his boots there. He's like, well, I just won't give these back. So he's wore his boots for a couple of years.
Yeah, good on him.
Got him through his poor uni career.
Good job.
Yeah.
So again, Port left to rue, what was the season that could have been.
Yep.
They need to go deep next year. They'll get an easier draw.
Yep.
Out of this. Having said that, I mean, the hardest part of their draw was playing Hawthorn twice, and they beat them twice. So
Look, I think they're missing a couple of big, strong men in their key positions.
Size.
Yeah, size, yeah.
Well, I mean, Ollie Wines only played half a dozen games this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him really...
Oh, he's a box.
Yeah, but not the person I'm kind of thinking of. I'm thinking you'll need someone more in the line of like a Tom Hawkins or that sort of build, even like a Cloak if you play him down back, but to fill in key positions so that they're going to be sort of attractive to defenders that have to double up on them, and that way you can have your free running game going, because at the moment they've been found out with their free running game. They've just sort of invested too much stock into that one strategy.
I think running back the other way is part of their issue as well.
Yep.
When it's on, it looks awesome. But if you fumble or a handball misses a target, and you look around and go, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, exactly. I think you need that steadiness across your halfback, fullback lines. If you had like a Rance, something like that across the fullback line, I'd say something like a Cloak across halfback line. That's what you need.
On to what should have been game of the round. Adelaide hosting West Coast.
Yep.
I had a feeling that Adelaide were going to put a bit of a hurting on, being that West Coast could afford to drop a game.
Yep.
This is their last away trip for the home and away season, and Adelaide came out and had their best start to the game.
They do 7-0 in
the 8 in the first quarter, and kicked the first of the second quarter as well.
Jesus.
It was all one way traffic, and it was crisp too. It wasn't. Eagles weren't playing bad. They just couldn't get their hand on the ball. And everything the Crows touched turned to gold.
And I'll tell you what, everyone in the top 8 is just thankful that Crows is a late season resurgence. They don't have any home finals.
Well, they can. I think they can still have one home final if the results go the right way for them.
Yeah, they need all results to go their way. So they need Richmond to get beaten by North, and they need Bulldogs to get thumped.
I think something like that.
Yeah.
So
their percentage isn't great.
But they still got a chance.
Yeah.
It was very impressive the way they went around it. Even Big Tex Walker wasn't on target early, or on song. He was probably the one player that wasn't dominating in the first half. He obviously came back into it after that, but it's the impressive midfield of the West Coast just couldn't get their hands on the ball.
Yeah.
Big sore spottle Jacobs was having it all over Nat Nui.
Yep.
And then, to be honest, by half time, the heat went out a little bit. I mean, Adelaide put on some late goals to beef out the margin, but otherwise, West Coast can afford to lose the game. They probably weren't that fussed.
Yeah, and I think Josh Jenkins kicked 6 or 7 or something.
Yeah, he was absolute
6 or 7-1.
6 goals,
6-1. Yeah.
He's had a good year. Josh, in a forward line where 2 blokes have kicked 50 goals, he's been that great, third one up.
Yeah, and especially where, you've filled in the role that they wanted Pods Adley to do when he was playing. So,
well, pretty much what Pods did last year. Pods hasn't had a look in this year.
Yeah.
He's kicked, in the last 2 weeks in the sample, he's kicked 9 goals and 11 goals.
Yeah.
And even he knows, look, mate, I'm not here to play AFL this year.
Yeah, exactly.
He's very likely to go into a fitness, coaching role at some club next year. Look, Adelaide have got all the parts of a premiership side.
They do. It's scary looking at the bottom 4 of the top 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, that have done really well against the top 4. And Adelaide have just started hitting their straps. They've got Sloan back, who had time out with injury, but he started to... I think it almost could be beneficial to him to have that time off of that injury and just really start his training from now. And he's picked it up where he left off, and I think he's been run in now that he's ready to go for the finals.
Ready to go. Yeah, it's exactly right. When you look at it, they've got a dominant midfielder in Dangerfield. You've got the smart ball use of Scotty Thompson around him. Sloan. You've got a couple of young guns to run through there as well. You've got a great ruckman in Jacobs. Forward options, they've got Walker, Betts, and now Jenkins as the third option. Down back, they've got Talia. They're not missing anything.
And the thing is, looking forward, if they do lose Dangerfield, I honestly believe you could chuck Walker in the middle and he'll rip it up. I don't think he's an out-and-out full forward. I think you could chuck him in the middle or centre-half back and he'll be a very, very, very valuable player.
Maybe a bit like Pavlich. Every now and then, pinch hit in the middle. Big body.
He's a big boy.
Push some people around.
Exactly. So I think if you can lessen his dependency on being that key forward, and when you got Jenkins doing the job that he did, I think there's a case you're going to slot Pods Adley back in there for a game. Well, but it's too late now.
He's not going to. And he's going to retire at the end of the year. I don't know if he's announced it yet, but I don't think he'd be denying it.
Yeah, look, it's probably too late to experiment with that this season. But I think looking forward, if you can find another key forward, I'd really like to see Walker get pushed up the field a little bit and start looking at playing the game, facing the goals. Does that make sense?
It'd be very interesting. I mean, he roams up around half forward every now and then, 60, 70 out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, when if the opposition's kicked a couple of goals, you need that bit of a pick-up in the middle. So there's no doubt the morale that he brings to the side and to the crowd.
He's also the captain as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly.
Nothing better than the captain in the middle of the ground.
And modelling your game off someone like Pavlich is not a
exactly.
bad place to start.
Yep.
The other interesting thing for the Crows is obviously Camporeale is the interim coach.
Yeah.
Up for the role, but a lot of big names have been linked to Adelaide as well. Like Bomber Thompson's even been spoken about.
Yeah.
Worsfold's been spoken about.
Yep.
Now, whether either of those two, Adelaide are interested in those two, or if they're interested in the role.
Yep.
But look, if Adelaide go, they're probably going to win a final.
Yep.
They're a good chance.
Yeah.
If they shock somebody in week 2 and they make a prelim,
yep,
you can't move Camporeale out of this chair.
Not at all. Not at all. And especially just the what would you say, the sentimental fact that he's come through that system with
Phil Walsh
being
the tragedy
the
that
coach and coming through, and there's a lot there for the Crows for having him stay in that position for next year. But obviously, it's got to be results based.
And the other thing about this game was, I think the crowd was 55,000 or something like that. It was an absolute sellout.
It would have been maybe 20 West Coast supporters in the cheer squad there, and
even they didn't want to be there after quarter time.
No.
So anyway, that's like I said, West Coast to drop the game. They don't give a shit.
So the only time you want about Adelaide Oval is when Australia are in the bat.
That's it. On to Etihad on Sunday, Sydney versus St Kilda. It was good to see Schneider get his farewell game with the two clubs that he played with.
Yeah.
Obviously a 05 premiership player.
Yeah.
Interesting, on the day there were 3 2005 premiership players on the ground, and 2 of them were playing for the Saints.
There you go.
He got a goal in the first quarter, and that was about the only highlight for Saints for the day.
Yeah, look, they were very wasteful in front of goal. Like, honestly, I thought they kicked themselves out of it in the first quarter and to the lesser extent the first half. But they definitely had opportunities, but it looks like they put the cue in the rack for the season, this game.
Yeah, it's very hard to keep going when you've got nothing to play for.
Yeah, and even Armitage has been just an absolute standout for the Saints this year.
Yeah.
Like, he had a few games of 40-plus possessions. Even he was making really silly mistakes and things that were very out of character. And it looks like the season's taken a toll on them, and they put the cue in the rack. They put in a bit of an effort, and it wasn't working out, and it looks like they gave up a bit too easy.
Look, in the first 10 minutes, you're right. I think they wasted it in front of goal. They had the nice run of the play.
Yeah.
But look, you could see the writing on the board.
Yep.
There was times where they pushed forward, and then into the Saints forward lines, there'll be a 1-on-4. This is going to get ugly. Yeah,
and there's only so much Bruce can do up there, taking contested marks where you're delivering it just up high and making him earn it.
And Rui as well. He's got to cover a lot of turf with that young side.
They look tired. They looked really tired.
It's been a long year.
Yeah. But got to be happy for the Saints.
They got their draw last week, which was their inspiration.
I was going to say, I didn't manage to get this prediction.
Late season inspiring win.
Yeah.
The late season inspiring draw is pretty damn close.
Yeah, I got close there, but I figure you'd throw enough line till they catch a fish. So
exactly right.
Got a few more weeks to make predictions and go on right.
The Swans, I mean, they'll be happy that they put on, 95-point win or something like that, but it was an aggressive training run, to be honest.
And one thing I will say for the Swans is that the Saints tried to make it a real scrappy, messy game, and I was really impressed with the way that the Swans could clean it up.
Yeah.
They managed to pick the standard up and really dominate. There's a lot of times you'll find you'll get brought down to that standard as a top team where someone tries to make it really scrappy. And So, I was impressed with the way that they could manage to pick the skills up and clean it up and sort of hold possession and make it a worthwhile match for them.
I mean, they're coming good at the right end of the year, Swans. The only issue is they haven't shown this type of form against the top teams.
Yep.
In the last couple of months,
Yeah.
and they won't get a chance because I think they got Brisbane they got Gold Coast next week.
Yeah, and
which will be another 80-90 point win if they want to.
Yep. And look, Hanbury dominated with 39 possessions as well, but I thought a lot of them were easy possessions that he picked up in the end of the game. I thought the best players were Kennedy and McVeigh.
Yep.
I thought Kennedy presented himself well. McVeigh just really cool under pressure and really had key possessions that set him up.
Well, they've lost Parker Did he break his leg or something like that?
Something like that. Or maybe his arm.
No, it was his leg.
Okay.
But he may come back during the finals.
Yep.
But you take out, their reigning best and fairest and a midfield gun.
Yeah.
You still got Hanbury, Mitchell, Kennedy, and Kieran Jack in the middle.
Yeah.
That's not a bad. There's some quality there.
And look, Heaney up forward, he doesn't look like much. There's not much to him, but he just managed. He's got such a tight mark, like out in front, hands up.
For a first-year player,
He's got a really just vice grip.
Yeah, he's kicked
Lots
the
of
floor.
spoil coming through.
He looks like he's left over from Puberty Blues.
Yeah.
Remember that 70s?
Yeah, no shit. Actually, I was thinking he looked like, you probably know him, the F1 driver, James Hunt, who he was in the, I don't know if you've seen the movie Rush. It was the F1 with Nicky Lauda and James Hunt. Anyway, this playboy British F1 driver. He's passed away now, but yeah, spit an image of him.
He's looked good. He'd be really contending for the Rising Star if he played a whole season.
Yeah.
Just obviously he's a little bit of knee trouble kept him in. Tippett's coming better at the end of the year. I mean, he had his couple of hit-outs, couple of marks, couple of goals. Missed an absolute sitter from the edge of the goal square.
Didn't he? And the thing is, he tried to rush it too. He's like,
I'll
get
just
this
pop
over
it
and done with.
And missed it by
Wanted no part of that kick.
It wasn't even close.
And the thing is, it was a bit flattering with his stats because there was no one in the Saints backline that could really match up with him, taking marks overhead.
No, the key backman has been the biggest weakness for St Kilda all year, and he had a bit of a day out on it. You got to feel sorry for, I think his name's Tom Rose, who debuted last week for Sydney as the sub. Comes on the last quarter, kicks 3, gets dropped.
Did he?
I mean, what more do you want from the blood?
Anyway,
but they had to put some guy, Franklin. Anyway, I don't know who he is. Had to put him back in the side. Doesn't look good. He's he's been out with a back issue.
Yeah,
he looks stiff.
Went off as a sub as well,
which would have been their plan.
Yeah,
but it does. I know everyone's made the comparison. You go back to a couple of years ago when Tommy Hawkins had trouble with his back, and it looked like he couldn't touch his toes.
Yep.
Franklin started to look a bit like that.
It's tough, isn't it?
The problem is he's such a freak that he can come out in 2 weeks' time in a final and kick 8.
Yeah, he's jabbing with some cortisone or something.
Yeah, and you just go, okay, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. The other thing, Jason Holmes' experiment. How do you think it's turning out?
Well, this is game number 2.
Yep. The parents come across.
Yeah, parents came across for this one. I think there's no problem with it. He's hungry for the ball.
Yep.
He looks like he's in the game.
Yeah.
He's not standing back and waiting for it to come to him.
Yep.
I mean, he dropped a couple of marks here and there. It's going to happen. But I think it looks like his mentality is right on.
Yeah.
Which you'd expect with somebody that's travelled halfway around the world to be a professional athlete.
Yeah.
But when you compare it to like Majak Dor or Izzy Folau, who looked lost, he sometimes looks lost, but he's trying to find.
He's trying to find his way.
Exactly. Whereas the other guy sort of looked petrified.
Yeah.
Where he's always moving, and you can tell that he's got a lot of smart people around him that are talking to him, like Montagna, and Armitage, and probably Rewald as well. So you got no problem with it.
Because I thought like the picking like that sort of athleticism for one skill is it's one thing, whereas he dominated hit-outs, and obviously it's a very small part of the game, but it can set up your whole forward line if you can dominate clearances and that. And so I think that picking those people for that one sort of skill, there's merit to it. But the trick to this experiment, I think, is being able to make up for that decade or so of muscle memory and you get from growing up playing the game. I definitely think it's possible. It's just a matter of figuring out what proper training you need, what proper techniques you need to put people through in order to do it. And I think if Saints can figure this out, if they don't, it'll get figured out by someone. Like big, tall Americans come over here and do ruck work.
Yep.
If they can figure it out, it'll be a game changer. And not just for opening up the trade routes for sort of the throwouts from NBA to come over here and do ruck
basketball
work, but also for the interest in sponsorship coming internationally. If you can start getting those people coming in, you start having a broader base in which to gain sponsorship from. And as soon as you start getting the money coming into the AFL, then you can start looking at expanding internationally. And look, me personally, I don't give a fuck if we go international or not. If we want to play America in AFL, I'm all for it. If they don't want to play, then they don't have to play, and we can still play Carlton. I don't care. But I think if for that to happen, you need to get the base salary of the players up, because that means you've got more sponsorship coming in, you've got more interest globally for a market to come in and really take it on.
And I think you're right in if they're going to get the payments up, they've already signed on this massive fucking TV rights deal.
Yep.
You've almost reached. You're not going to get much more sponsorship out of the Australian market, so you've got to look international.
And the way to get international is to have stars internationally in here and doing well.
And it was interesting, when he's going up against Mike Pike for Sydney on the other end of it.
Yep.
You got the obviously Canadian versus an American, and I'm sure that the commentators would have loved that.
They were fucking disappointed at the first bounce when it wasn't
the
Mike Pike.
Yeah. But look, I mean, Jason Holmes had 18 hit-outs, which was a game high.
Yeah.
Pretty low for a game high, but obviously he only had, a kick and 2 handballs. So around the ground he didn't get much of it, but he was in there and looking for it.
Like you said, he was always looking to do something, but almost it was like he was looking to do too much. Like, there's the ball, I've got to get the ball there, and it's gone there. Instead of saying, the ball's there, I'll cover this man running through here and being one step ahead.
And that's going to happen.
Yeah, and it comes with practice and learning the game. But I thought good effort by him. I thought he won the centre bounces, but got muscled out from the throw-ins and clearances in that way. But that's just what you got to learn. I think hooking up people like Mike Pike and people around him.
It'll take him a couple of years.
To
get used to that. Yeah. And the final game of the round was Freo and Melbourne. Freo had only one thing to do, and that was to show that they can score.
Yep.
And they scored 100. I think that would have been their goal. They kicked the first 20. I don't know.
So it looks like it took halfway through the second quarter for Melbourne to kick a goal. So
and then so let's have a look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 goals.
11.
And then so Freo kicked the first 11, and then basically the margin stayed about the same.
Yep, pretty much.
So they put the queue in the rack, and they've still scored 100 points.
Yep. Bit of controversy with them resting players next week too.
Well, it is. It's going to be the big talking point for the next couple of days. So we'll go through it. Ross Lyon has been known to rest players late in the year because he's stitched up top 2 or a top 4 spot.
Yep.
And he's done it at St Kilda. He's done it at Freo. This week they're travelling to Adelaide Oval to play Port.
Yep.
And he's got it on the front foot and gone to the AFL and said, I want to rest players. How many am I allowed to rest, basically?
Yeah.
I'm not throwing the game, but we're tired. We've
Yep.
got road trips.
Yeah.
I want them to stay home.
Yep.
So I think he's gone the right way about it.
Yeah.
And so he's not trying to hide it. He's not trying to lie and say, oh, yeah,
exactly.
He's got general soreness and, he's got a dodgy ankle.
Flu.
He's saying, look, I'm resting him.
Yeah.
Which everyone knows he's doing anyway.
Yep.
And the AFL has said basically go for it because there's no positions up.
Yep.
They stitched up the minor premiership.
Yep.
Port can't, knock somebody out of 8th with a percentage boost or anything like that.
Yep.
Which I think that if, let's say Port were percentage outside the 8, I think then the AFL would have had a problem.
Yeah.
If not a problem with Ross, then certainly a problem with another club saying, what the fuck?
Yeah. And I think if you're in that position, you've earned that position. You can do what the
exactly,
fuck you
yes.
want.
Yeah.
And the thing is, tanking's one thing where you're trying to lose, but them wrestling players isn't trying to lose.
He's
trying to win the next week.
He's trying to win a premiership.
Yeah, so
that's
I think
all he cares about.
I'm all for it. I think you rest 22 if you've got that luxury to rest 22 of your starting players. Fucking go for it. It's your prerogative.
We'll go back to State League as well because their affiliate Peel Thunder is in the finals this week.
Oh, okay.
If they're resting 12 players, they're not playing for Peel.
Yeah.
Like Ross, he doesn't fucking cut that.
Yeah.
But the best 12, I guess, are going to come up.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting if who they bring up.
Yeah.
They still want Peel Thunder to win.
Yeah.
Because if they keep going in the finals, it means you've got your Resi's teams playing.
Yeah.
So you keep your depth there.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how many they drop and how many come up.
Yeah.
I don't think Pavlich travels. Sanderland's definitely not.
Yep.
They'll probably rest, Mundy, Hill.
Yeah.
I don't know. McFarlane's definitely not travelling. Chris Main's probably not travelling. Michael Johnson, he might want another game.
Even Sanderlands, I might stick him in the rack.
There's no way Sanderlands is getting on a plane. Ain't getting on a plane. Melbourne just chugging along towards the end of the season. They've had a couple of good, I'll say, wins from the season.
They showed something, yeah.
Yeah, in Maxi Gawn and Bernie Vince.
Yep.
Nobody dominated for them on this day. But
look, Melbourne are lucky that there's Carlton, really. Because otherwise they'd probably getting a few boots sunk into them.
Look, next year is Paul Roos' last year on the books.
Yeah.
it'll be very interesting to see how far they've come in 3 years of Paul Roos.
Yeah.
I think that they have developed better, but they've realised that he's not the Messiah that some made him out to be.
Yeah.
And certainly not Paul Roos himself.
Yeah.
But there was, some, I think we've got hope,
Yeah, and maybe they realised that it wasn't completely the football department that was to blame.
Yeah.
Probably some other, business departments that have fucked them up.
I think it was everything.
Yeah.
And people try and put in measures to stop tanking, which Melbourne tanked. Like, forget about the fucking investigation they put into it.
Yeah.
It just goes to show that it's not a great tactic.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a couple of draft picks, but big deal.
Exactly.
They could have tried and got number 2 instead of the number 1 draft pick.
Yep.
Who cares?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And especially when you haven't done a whole lot with your fucking first draft picks anyway. So
yeah. But the way that mentality spreads throughout the team, you can see with them, it's taken a generation to get out. It's so hard to do.
And just having those questions hanging around the club, it's hard to get that mud off the club.
It was also very interesting. Oh, that's the end of the game, so we'll talk about next week in a minute.
Yeah.
Kane Corns has got a book coming out.
Yep.
So they've released, a chapter here and a chapter there through different stuff. And it's
funny,
talking about.
Funny the Port fans could read it.
Oh, somebody's going to read it to them. It's not like they've got all September to read it.
Yeah, that's true.
It was very interesting talking about the Primus years. And that was a chapter I read online, and just saying that he signed a new contract for 3 years or something, and then Primus said, "No, we're not going to play you." And he's like, "Well, go fuck yourself." What's the fucking point of this whole thing?
Yeah, exactly.
You pay me to go play in Glenelg. I'm going to train here for 3 years. I'm going to be the last to training. I'm going to be the first to leave. What's the fucking point?
Yeah.
It was almost. I was very glad that he wrote that in the book. Like, it makes me think I might actually go
buy
this book and read it now.
Yeah.
Because it shows he's being honest.
Yeah.
Because I know that I've read plenty of books before where they've gone, I always wanted to give my all. Like, mate, I saw you play.
Off. Yeah, exactly.
He's just being honest. He's saying, fuck this. Yeah. This is stupid.
Yeah. Eat a cock.
Yeah. And it turns out Primus didn't hang around that long. And Kane Corns ended up putting another 70 odd games onto his career. So, it was a very interesting excerpt anyway. Make it worthwhile. For the sake of it, we may as well go through the final round.
It's a bit of a non-event, isn't it, this round? Except for Richmond.
Friday night's interesting.
Yep.
Richmond North.
Pretty much that. If Richmond win, that pretty much sets everything in motion, doesn't it?
I think that means...
It's pretty hard to change anything else.
Yeah, it stops Adelaide getting a home final. Which means,
and Western Bulldogs are irrelevant because...
Yeah, either they're hosting or they're visiting.
Yeah. But
the game's being played at the MCG regardless.
Yep.
So I think Richmond will still win. They'll want to put a good win on the board against North.
Yeah, because I think if Richmond wins, a good chance we'll play them again next week.
Yeah.
So it's a good mental edge to have over the team if you've been a week before.
I believe that if they play next week, it'll be at the MCG though, rather than Etihad.
Yeah.
Which
because it's a Richmond home game.
Either way, I think even North will host at MCG because they've got to play a certain number of finals. MCG. I think they've got to play 10 every 5 years or something like that.
Well, that's better because I think
it's a better ground.
North would have the wood over Richmond at Etihad, I reckon.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Geelong hosting Adelaide. The real test of this game will be how many farewells are happening down there.
Yep.
Might be interesting if Adelaide have no chance of earning a home final.
Yeah.
If they do play Posy Adley.
Yep.
Just to give him a farewell.
Yeah, so that's not bad.
Down in Geelong.
Yeah.
Maybe it happens.
Yeah. You'd like to see it happen if that is the case. That it's a dead rubber game.
Otherwise, I think Adelaide are going to march on.
Yep.
Brisbane Lions hosting the Bulldogs. I think the Bulldogs will not try and win by 10 goals.
Yep, I think so. Bulldogs hitting form at the right time, so can't go against them.
Yeah, Zorko will get 40 touches and they still won't win.
Yep.
Port Adelaide hosting Fremantle. Fremantle seconds.
Port will smash them.
Yeah, they will win by 80.
Yep.
Because they'll get in front and they won't stop.
And then if Freo win the flag, we can listen to Port all summer going, we should have won because proxy.
We're going to hear that anyway.
Yeah, true.
Hawthorn Carlton at the MCG.
Yeah. I guess I'll be doing something else that day.
I might go to it.
What is it, the 4:40 game?
4:40, yeah. The twilight game of the MCG.
Yeah, maybe I'll go. No, I won't. No, fuck no.
You know what? The thing is, Hawthorn will rest players.
Yeah.
And the guys coming up are like, right, I need to fucking I'm going to do something.
Yeah, I'm playing Resi's grand final. Well, that's what I'm trying out for.
So anybody that comes up is going to try and make a name for themselves to, get a game during September.
Yeah.
Sydney hosting Gold Coast. Sydney will flog Gold Coast.
Yep. Sydney just doing everything right. Looking really good.
I think that they'd be disappointed that they can't play a higher place side.
Yeah,
because
Sydney just like the whole team's picking up their part.
Just getting ready. Yep, just getting ready.
There's no weak links there.
West Coast hosting St Kilda. If for somehow St Kilda win, it means that West Coast can drop and not have the hosting Hawthorn in the first week of finals. So they'll need to play enough to make sure they win, which won't be much against St Kilda over in Perth.
Yeah, look. The only chance I give St Kilda if they swap out 12 players as well.
Yeah,
I think they look like they put the queue in the rack from the last game, and I don't see a bigger effort from this one unless you've got fresh blood into that squad who actually want to get out there and do something.
They could afford to lose one, and they lost it last week. They won't lose this one.
Yeah.
Melbourne versus GWS at Etihad. Is that Etihad Stadium?
Yeah.
I tell you what, there could be 6 people at this game.
Yep. No trouble getting a pie or a cornetto in the crowd.
I reckon it's going to be the honour system.
They're just going to leave like the drumstick thing at like row 4 or something.
Yeah.
Sell yourself out.
Be like clerks. Just please take your change.
We're watching.
And then Collingwood and Essendon at the MCG will be the lowest attended Collingwood versus Essendon game in 20 years.
It would have to be, yes.
Is there going to be any farewells?
I think you get walk up MCC.
The only way there'll be any interest in this game is if they give Fletcher game 401.
Yep.
Otherwise, he'll do a lap of honour or something like that.
Yeah.
That'll be the only reason you're going to be there.
Yep.
And fuck Essendon supporters, you have to turn out for this game, even though it's a Collingwood home game, because so many of the Essendon supporters we saw leave.
From before Fletcher's 400th,
before the end of his 400th.
Yeah.
You can't be doing that again.
Don't let me down, Essendon supporters.
At least you can say you beat Collingwood.
Yeah, exactly. At least you can say, hey, I was there when Fletcher had his little thing and walked off.
I saw game 401.
Yeah.
Seeing it carried off again.
Yep.
But no, I think Collingwood are going to win anyway.
Yeah, so do I. I think they've been doing really well. Yeah.
I tell you what, though, first week of finals, the level of play between the last 2 weeks and the first week of the finals is just going to be an absolute chasm.
Yep, isn't it?
Looking forward to it.
Can't wait. And everything's starting to heat up now, and especially with such an open field for the flag as well.
Everyone said, this, since they've changed to the current final system, nobody from outside the top 4's won.
Yep.
Actually, nobody from outside the top 3.
Yep.
If it's ever going to happen, it's going to be this year because it is wide open.
Yep.
Having said that, Freo are on top. They're going to be playing 2 home finals.
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard to stop that.
It also comes down to coaching strategies in how you set up your team to run into the finals, where you have sort of your tapering in rounds 21, 22, 23, and then you'll start hitting your straps.
And, Fife has been rested the last couple of weeks. I don't think it's anything too serious. I think it is like if it was a final this week, he'd be playing. Type of stuff.
Yep.
They just put the cue in the rack with him.
Yep.
Freo is still my pick for the flag.
Yeah, I think they got it.
Same as you.
Yep.
All right. Well, that'll do us for round 22, all wrapped up. And next week we'll wrap up round 23 and look forward to the finals.
Be back in the final swing.
Back in the final swing.
Thanks, guys.